Chapter 12. Empathy. Use emotional intelligence to move others. Phineas Gage lived. This doesn't seem like a profound statement, except that in a workplace accident on September 13, 1848, Gage had a straight iron bar that was 43 inches long and weighed more than 13 pounds rocket through his head. Gage, then 25, was the foreman of a crew cutting a railroad bed in Cavendish, Vermont, for the Rutland and Burlington Railroad. Black rock was getting in the way of the future rail line, and the best way to remove rock like this was blasting. Rock blasting back then, like rock blasting today, starts in a similar way. Workers drill holes into rock to place the explosives. This is where the similarities end. Back then, after drilling holes, loose powder would be placed and tamped into the hole with a straight iron bar. The powder they used was explosive, so the work had to be done carefully. Sparks would have had consequences. After placing loose powder in the hole, workers would fill the remainder of the hole with sand. The non-explosive sand was tamped down aggressively to create a tight pack of material in the hole. Once everything is packed in, the crew would move away before detonating the powder. The explosion would split the rock. On that September day in 1848, Gage made a mistake while setting the blasting powder. He aggressively tamped the powder in the hole with his iron bar as if it were sand. A spark ignited the powder. The explosion turned the iron bar he was using into a missile that shot up and out of the hole in the rock. The skyward launch of the tamping bar would have been a cool sight, except that Gage's head was in the way. The speed and power of the bar traveling upward tore a hole from his left eye through the top of his head. The bar was found several feet away, smeared with blood and brain. Amazingly, Gage lived. This story, as I first heard it from Dr. Travis Bradbury in a keynote, had me on the edge of my seat. Bradbury is a psychologist and co-author of the book Emotional Intelligence 2.0. He went on to describe what happened to Gage after the accident. The projectile had essentially removed the front left side of Gage's brain. This part of the brain is known as the prefrontal cortex, or PFC. The PFC is responsible for our executive functions. The Indian Journal of Psychiatry notes that the PFC integrates various sensory modalities in a precise fashion to form the physiologic constructs of memory, perception, and diverse cognitive processes. In other words, this is an important part of the brain when it comes to expression of our emotions, judgment, impulse control, and decision-making, among other functions. As a result of losing part of his PFC, Gage turned into a different person. John Harlow was a physician who treated Gage after the accident, and noted later in a professional journal that Gage's, contractors who regarded him as the most efficient and capable foreman in their employ previous to his injury, considered the change in his mind so marked that they could not give him his place again. Harlow went on to note that Gage was fitful, irreverent, indulging at times in the grossest profanity, which was not previously his custom, manifesting but little deference for his fellows, impatient of restraint of advice when it conflicts with his desires, at times pertinaciously obstinate. The accident irrevocably changed how Gage expressed himself, which changed how others perceived him. No doubt this is a fascinating case study on the lingering effects of a traumatic brain injury, but what does it have to do with the skill of empathy for future leaders? This case study illustrates the importance of emotional intelligence. Gage, like the rest of us, had the gift of experiencing emotion, but, unlike the rest of us, had little ability to manage the expression of those emotions after the accident. The fallout affected Gage until his early death.